Welcome to the Pussy Power Hour. We are very honored to have you all join us for an hour of destigmatizing the word pussy. Today, what I have here is a group of amazing, beautiful women that's representing the globe. So let's get started. We don't want to lose you all. We want you all to be fully involved in this very, very interesting conversation. So I would like to introduce my co-host here, Lilu.
Yes.
Thank you for being the co-host of this amazing show.
Thank you for having such a show to be a co-host on.
All right, awesome. So I also like to now go around the room and introduce Claudia. Thank you, Claudia. Claudia is also a part of the team. What you have here is some amazing group of people that's a part of a team. Claudia
Thank you.
is that person. Thank you for being on the show, Claudia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would like to introduce Mary.
Hi.
And
My name is Drama.
yes, yes, we have drama. So today's topic is, where did the word pussy come from? Let's talk about it. So in our research, we found out the word pussy really just simply means a cat. It was a Roman and Greek word that was created for the purpose of just talking about a word, just speaking about a cat. So how did we get to the point where the word pussy just became such a taboo word? So we're all going to speak on that a little bit, and we're going to start with talking about our homes, our households, and how was the word pussy introduced to you the first time, and was sex spoken about in your household? And if so, how did the topic come up? So we'll start right here to my right with the beautiful Lilu.
Yes.
Okay, so how do you feel? Let's start with that. How do you feel about the word pussy?
The word pussy, my feelings. Initially, I would have to say that I was very uncomfortable. Even saying it, even hearing the word pussy made me feel kind of slimy or slick or, just kind of naughty. It wasn't until the 17th century that pussy was attached to being identified with women. Up until then, it was either meaning weak or attached to identifying a cat. As far as when I used it first, it was probably hearing a song and hearing it there. Now I've become more comfortable with the word pussy. I have a friend that I have to thank, Diane Washington, a fabulous model from the 60s, 70s. And she gave me a tip. She said, instead of saying cheese when you go to take a photo, say the word pussy, and it puts your mouth in the perfect position. So I started to fall in love with the word pussy, and even doing a meditation in the mirror, just getting really comfortable and owning that word, taking the power away from it being a negative thing, but just reinforcing the power I have myself. Pussy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's really interesting. All right, Drama, how about you? When was the first time? How do you feel about the word pussy?
The word pussy, man. Well, let's see. Yeah, the first time I probably heard it and started using it. Super taboo in middle school, you start listening to kind of raunchier music, dirtier stuff. You start exploring the internet and whatnot. And the word is so wildly used across the board in so much music. It's like you hear it in tons of rap music all the time, like pussy, right? And it's like when you're hearing these homies talk about it in songs and stuff, it's always talking about some girl and her, her womb and this sacred centered area, or you're calling somebody a pussy, you know what I mean? And don't be such a pussy in middle school and elementary school when you're trying to egg your friends on to do something. So right off the bat, you've just got these super negative connotations. And when I would say the word or just hear it around me, and I started hearing it a lot from my male friends in middle school, for sure. They'd be talking about wanting to get some pussy and stuff like that, or and it just gives you this overall initial kind of slimy, gross feeling, and it makes you kind of cringe a little bit, and it's kind of a turn off into turn off onto something that is such a truly sacred zone, you know?
Yes,
the pussy is the area of creation, but it's like, what do we say, in other words, to take the place of that word? What's like the next, trying to sculpt it. And when did I start even becoming comfortable like saying pussy? It wasn't until I started getting a lot more mature into my like later high school, earlier adult years, where you would be saying it kind of more in a sensual way to your partner or something like that. And I started sculpting it for myself to have this new meaning and for it to not be such a cringy kind of like slimy thing to hear. But yeah, the word pussy is totally exploited in the music industry, the film industry, across the board. It is just kind of tearing down at this divine part of the feminine. And I guess here we are right now, on this awesome show, getting to kind of open up this container to talk about the pussy and what it really is and its true divine meaning, and how do we take away and come back from all of this like exploitation that has been happening, that is still happening right now, and recreate it, transform it.
I love that. Thank you for giving us your insight on that word and how it make you feel. Now let's go on to Claudia. Claudia, how do you feel about the word pussy?
I didn't grow up with that word. I grew up speaking Spanish, and when I moved to the United States, and I learned that was a bad word, and that you say that when you want to make somebody weak, or when you want to insult somebody, or when you feel like it's a word of, I don't know, it's just not naming really it's confusing, because now you're giving it totally different meaning. And like Lilu drama said, it's pretty clear that the connotation is not good, but really, the word pussy, there's nothing bad in that word, right? There is it's just the meaning that we put on it. And I'm not sure if we can switch that, if we can flip it, but for sure we can have fun making, and we can have a joy talking about it, and thinking and putting out there that, you know what, it's okay. It's okay, and it's not an insult. We have it, we enjoy it, it's making us mothers, it's making us women, and making us sisters.
And making some happy men out there.
And make a lot of happy men out there too. Yes, but the real meaning, is out there, is lost. And then, maybe it's just like we have to, word by word, find a meaning that is positive, that is, is give a society a better thing. And those kids in elementary school, those kids in middle school, instead to call somebody pussy, instead you can use the real word. You're weak, or you're, but no pussy.
Because the pussy is strong.
We are strong. We are strong. We give birth, and, that's the real thing. I think it's totally drama also was saying from the men, side of the spectrum, not from us. Not from us.
Thank you for that. I cannot wait to wrap back around to that conversation, because you just hit on a very important key piece. So we're going to get to Mary, and then we're going to circle back around and tap on that.
I'm curious though, is there a Spanish word for pussy?
Doesn't have, it's Spanish word, yes. And in Spain, they call it different too. And Mexico has another name. In Argentina, where I'm from, doesn't have a connotation of weak.
Okay. How about that?
Doesn't have a connotation of weak.
What's the connotation?
It's just, it's funny to say, but it's a shell. It's a shell. We call it concha, which is a shell.
Wow.
But I know in other countries, shells in Argentina it's a shell. And we do use a bad word too when we say, as an insult, but not a weak. If she's just saying, go to the shell of your mother. When you want to send somebody really far and to a bad place, let's say that, a different place, yeah. Or sometimes you say that when you get hit or when you get something, oh, la concha, oh, la concha. But we don't, as it's something bad like that, but not really weak. It's something that can put you in a, but it has a bad connotation if you want to, if you want to use it as something that is strong and far, or I don't know, a remote place, it's not used, or can you be used as a naughty word in a sex and having intimate relationships and sexual relationships. It can be also used in that way, but not as a weak.
Right.
La concha, yes.
La concha. I have me a new word. La concha.
La concha, yes.
All right, so Mary, tell us, how do you feel about the word pussy?
Well, the way that I was raised, it was very much a negative word. It wasn't even talked about. We didn't talk about vaginas or pussies or the womb or anything like that, because I grew up in a very religious household. And as I got older and I gained the intention and the realization that there's an entire thing here that I need to pay attention to, I started seeking conversation with others. I started asking questions. I started reading books. I started doing my own personal research to find out that the word pussy and pretty much all of the words that encompass the meaning of this womb, this space, this sacred container within the bodies of all women, all womb holders, it was so negative, and it was created to be such an insult, and we often say things like in attack of others, just to call them a pussy, or to curse the pussy when we hurt ourselves accidentally. And that confused me greatly, but come to find out that it's like pretty much all of society, this patriarchal society, that is telling us that it's so negative, that it's so weak, that it's an insult to be associated with a womb or a pussy.
That's some very powerful information that's flowing through your womb right now, and thank you for sharing it. And thank you. So now we're gonna just start redirecting our questions. I have this question that I've been asking you ladies, and now I would like to ask Lilu this question. Was sex talked about in your household? And if so, how was that conversation brought to you?
Thank you for that question. No, sex was not talked about in my household. And if we did have a conversation about it, it was more about staying healthy and staying clean. So one of the first times that I ever heard about sex was at the doctor at a checkup. And my mother was like, you are of the age where you now have to go to the doctor for these specific things. And that's how I was introduced to just even acknowledging that something more goes on here beyond what my experience already was.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I think that's very common. How about you, Drama? Was sex a conversation in your household?
Oh man, I remember my father used to have this shirt and it said like sexy on it, but it was in the Coca-Cola font. Mm-hmm. And I remember as a little kid, I would like look up at the shirt and I'd be like, sexy. And he would be like, don't say that. Don't he'd be ashamed to even say, the word sexy out loud. Not realizing until maybe I was a little older, like 8 or 9 or so, that like sexy had this correlation to sex, which had this correlation you know, to me, and I could partake in this sexual act, but it was wrong to talk about. So no, we didn't really talk about it too much, besides the time that my father explained to me how humans were made, because I remember he told me about it in the elevator one time on the way up to dropping me off at my mom's house. I kept bothering him, Dad, how was I made? How did I come here? And when a man and a woman love each other very much, and he said it quite. This was actually, you know, my dad. It was pretty cool. He said it quite literally. He would always be pretty literal with me for certain things and certain times, and he'd be like, well, a man has a penis, drama, and a woman has a vagina, and when a man and a woman love each other very much, a man will put his penis inside of the vagina, and he's just explaining it to me very casually as we're like going up the elevator to drop me off at my mom's apartment. And then, you know, 9 months later, a baby is made, and I was like, oh, okay. So, and then after that, he never really talked about it too much after that. I think he felt like he got it over with, and he was quite literal, which was awesome. But yeah, no, after that, I remember getting into like middle school age and wanting to feel experimental, and my dad, of course, knowing that I was probably at the age where I'd start maybe kissing boys or something like that. And yeah, he was always very shy. My dad, I mostly grew up with my father and my stepmother, and neither of them wanted to talk about this too much with me whatsoever. They didn't really want to know if anything was going on. I think they were just really hoping that nothing was happening, that I was not experiencing the lengths that my pussy could take me.
Right?
Yeah.
The fear of that. Well, I'm going to give a little blurb about my household. I grew up with, my father was basically a pastor in the church, and he was very, very strict. We never talked about sex, our bodies, our wombs, and my mom was a really quiet woman. So even after they went their separate ways and she had all of her daughters, she never sat us down and talked about our bodies. I didn't even know what my body parts were called. I had to figure all of that out on my own. I had to figure out my sacred bleed on my own. I had to figure out, do I use a tampon or do I use, a pad? And if I do, what do I do with it? And will it leak through? All of these things. Even I thought being a virgin was a bad thing. I didn't think that was a good thing. I thought that something was wrong with me. And I actually went through a moment of just abusing myself because I had so much hatred for my womb, so much hatred for this sacred space right here. And that led me down a road of learning how to love myself, because I started at a place of deep self-hatred for not just my womb, but this whole entire body that I'm in. Because I feel like when a woman does not value her womb, how can she value herself in her totality? She cannot. That leaves spaces for jealousy and envy and distrust and lack of love for anything outside of yourself, because your womb is the birthing place of love too. And so we have to, just kind of keep that in mind.
So, Niemah, how do you feel about the word pussy?
I feel great about the word pussy. To be very vulnerable and honest, I just started using this word about 3 weeks ago. And as an executive woman, a humanitarian, I got a lot of flack from it. I noticed at least about 300 people drop themselves from my Instagram page. I noticed that. But Spirit channeled in me and was like, you have to use this word. This is the word that has to be used, because this is the word that does hold the most negative energy. And moving into the realms of destigmatizing something and bringing education and light to something, you have to be willing to stand, even if it is
ruffling some feathers or making people feel uncomfortable. I even noticed, like, in our goddess group, we actually started the Pussy Power like during a goddess retreat that we had right here because Mary was there. And all of the women were excited about it. The room was filled with women. As soon as I say, hey, this is going to be the show, everybody got quiet.
Yeah.
Everybody got quiet. They was like, oh my God. She is about to be talking about pussy. It's about to be something raunchy. And let's talk about this. The word pussy, the stigma it has on it with the womb and the correlation it even has to a Black woman.
Yes.
That's a double whammy.
It's very exposing.
Yes.
So you have to be willing to be out front, in front of that, and own it. Not everybody can do that.
Absolutely. I stand on what's righteous. I stand on creating beauty. I stand on love. I stand on us healing our wombs and loving our wombs, embodying ourselves in its fullness. Everything has light and shadow. Everything. So how about, instead of us running, how about we just go into there and shed the light? That's how I feel about the word pussy. I feel like I have a flashlight and I am going into the shadow like, okay, what's wrong with it? Let's see. Let's
On the flashlight.
Let's see. Let's see what's going on with this word and why is it such a taboo? Why is it so negative? Who created that and how could we bring some more enlightenment to that and empower these wombs, empower our wombs? Because guess what? When we have empowered wombs, we empower our men. We empower our families. We empower our communities. We empower our worlds. Let's do that. Let's stop running. Let's deal with it head on. So this is what this show is about. It's about dealing with it head on and being able to reach to our young people because they're using that word every day. How I know? My daughter goes to a school that encompasses kindergarten to 12th grade. I go there, they be like, yeah, pussy, bitch. They be speaking like that. You know what I mean? And how are we going to get to our young people if we're not willing to meet them where they are?
Right.
If we're always putting ourselves all the way up here and they're all the way here, then they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen to us because we're not willing to go in there with that flashlight and be investigators instead of judges. We're the judge and the jury. We've condemned everything, including our wombs and ourselves. So destigmatizing that word is what this show is about. I feel great about it. I stand on it. No, it wasn't used in my family, and I just started using it myself. So here we are.
Take that power back from that word. It feels so negative and it just covers you and you want to hide from it. Guilt, shame, and condemnation are not of the Lord, and yet people want to place that on you, especially when you use that word. As an artist and a performer who does mainly hip hop, I've loved the fact that I can express and get on stage and it's like, fuck you and all of this. But yet, confronted with the word pussy, I'm like,
Right.
you know. So taking that power back and saying, yeah, this is mine. I have it. I share it, you know.
And it's powerful and it's beautiful and it's delicious.
For me, the meaning that resonates really bad and is what comes when somebody uses the word pussy is weak. And I would say, don't call me weak. Don't call me weak, you know, because that's not, my pussy is not weak. My pussy never was, and my daughter's pussy is not weak, and my friend's pussy is not weak. And that's why, you know, I don't want that meaning. If you want to use a word to call me weak, it's okay, but don't use that one. And what I was saying is also the word fear, the fears that are behind and inside that word, you know, all the connotations, but also the fear that is for women even, and men and everybody, to use that word as something that is positive, you know?
How do we save our daughters from succumbing to this negative over the word pussy?
Right.
You know, my child would probably freak out trying to say the word pussy, you know, but someone who's younger than her can run around and be like, pussy, 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 you know. And so how do I empower her to own that, even at her age, and say, hey, you don't have to give it this negative power over you.
Right.
You can own that. Take that back. Take your power back. Reassociating it with the womb, with the earth, being connected, being in the cycles of the moon, and just showing what kind of power you have. It's so important.
It is. And you know, one thing I want to like bring to light to it, we're not saying you got to run around here saying the word pussy. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying, okay, replace the word womb, replace vulva, replace all this, and now pussy is your new word. That is not what we're saying. If you are giving your daughters sex education, we're not saying that you have to say pussy, but what we are saying is, since it is a word that's used negatively, how about we switch that? You could still use the words that's comfortable for you or they feel high vibrational to you, but you do not have to let the word pussy make you feel low or bad or dirty or ucky and yucky, because it's still referring to something so powerful, which is our womb. So we are definitely working on taking that
Take
power
it back.
back.
Take that power back.
All right, so before we move into this next topic, it is tea time, because this is going to be a juicy one. Yeah. So let's get our tea going, ladies, so then we can ask these young, beautiful goddesses this very divine question. We have 23 and 24 over here that wants to give us some wisdom, because they have plenty, okay, to give and to share about the word pussy. So the question I have for you, we can start with you, Drama. With you being 23 and a musician heavily in the community and just really into this music industry, is the word pussy being used in your associative group?
You know, the people I associate with are, I would say, I think they've done a lot of work. I would say we are a very mature group of millennials, and no, it's not necessarily used in any sort of negative connotation. Definitely just used sexually. Oh yes.
To pussy.
To pussy. Just used kind of in your light sexual sensual ways, you know. Yeah.
So you all are not using the word pussy?
We're using the word pussy. We're definitely using the word pussy.
When?
Let me take a sip.
Maybe it's used in the same way we use them.
Maybe. We're about to find out.
our-
We're
in
about
our
to find
age
out
group.
if the younger generation
be.
and the more mature generation is using this word pussy in the same way. We're going to find out.
It's kind of just like more of like a used jokingly and stuff. And when we are talking about it,
Okay.
no one's ever really like, yeah, I'm trying to go get some pussy or anything. That was definitely in high school era and stuff. But that's been like 6 years since all of that. So we've elevated and come so much farther, and we don't want to have that like kind of negative like trying to go get some pussy raunchy meaning around it anymore.
Right.
So
What do you all say?
When we're talking about like someone we slept with, I'll be like, I slept with that person, or yeah, I got laid, you know. I guess definitely there have been a couple times when if there was like something negative that happened and went down between a couple homies, and it was like a sexual interaction. I do recall one time maybe a homie being like, oh, like her pussy stank or something like that, you know.
So it's still used in a negative way.
In a negative way. It is. It
It
definitely
becomes
is.
pussy if it stinks, or if it's raunchy.
Yeah, if it's raunchy, exactly. Right.
Your cat stinks.
Now you a pussy.
Right.
But definitely, I mean, I'm with a partner, and he'll speak really lovingly to me about mine. He'll be like, oh, baby, she's like, I'm thinking about your pussy on my face.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yeah.
But and then you feel more free to use it, I guess.
Definitely.
Because you can come and go to the word. I don't feel like we were able to use it much for any good way. You know, it's not like we were saying it and not saying it, or using it in some moments in some precise places. I don't know. I feel like, there is a little bit more of freedom for the good pussy.
Definitely.
Yeah. Young generation. Well, let's get married. Let's get married.
I guess maybe you don't have your husband talking about like your pussy. Does he ever refer to it as that? Does he ever mention, or what's like, you know, what is the talk around that?
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I wanna keep this on the young people, and then we'll get around to our age group. Mary.
So in the circles that I run with, I suppose we're really intentional about being a little bit more conscious of the words that we're using. With the people that I hang out with, typically we don't really use the word pussy. We use more like the word yoni, or mostly yoni, honestly. But I have noticed that when we do use the word pussy, it still has that like slightly negative connotation. Like there's that bit of like a heart murmur when the word pussy is used. Like personally for me, a lot of times when I hear it in a certain light, my heart just kind of goes like, oh, that kind of hurt me a little bit to hear you say it with that tone or with that context. But I have noticed that when we use the word yoni, or when we're using it in a conscious conversation like this, it's like there's no feeling of heaviness in my heart when these words are used. But I have noticed when I'm speaking in conversation with old friends, per se, like from high school, there's this one old friend that comes to mind in particular where the conversation around our wombs and our pussies and our yonis isn't that of like love, honestly, because when we were talking about it, she was definitely talking about like somebody else's stinky pussy, or like, oh, she doesn't use a wash, or blah 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 blah. But that's not really what I want to surround myself with. I want to more so speak of our yonis and our pussies with love and intention to build ourselves up, and not attack each other for any aspect of our sacred portals.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And it's good to hear, you know, from the younger generation, you know, how these words are evolving and how you all are evolving and bringing more consciousness, awareness into the conversation about whatever word. Because one thing that I agree with you about is conscious awareness on the words. Because a word is a vibration.
Yeah.
It's almost like, you know, calling your friend the B word. You can say B, or you can say B. Whatever the intention is, it's going to create the vibration on the word to make it either negative or positive.
Yeah.
So the consciousness awareness on the words are very important.
Yeah, especially when it's used continuously with the same tone or intention or connotation. Yeah.
And in this case, the word pussy has a very negative connotation because it has been seen in a very negative light majority of the time. And that's still putting some type of energy into our wombs, yeah? So, Lilu, in your age group, you know, tell us how the word pussy is being used in your age group.
Okay. One thing I did want to mention, and this goes off of what Mary was saying, this idea that each of our pussies has its own personality, and it's more than just our anatomy of like our vagina or our yoni. But my pussy has a personality, your pussy, your pussy, your pussy. We have an individual energy that comes along with us and through us. In my age group, which is 40, I'm a proud 40, I'll say that, yes. I have a partner who's 11 years older than me, and he actually uses the word pussy quite often and with such admiration. Like, I love your pussy. Let me taste your pussy. Your pussy tastes so good. You know, and it's just, it makes me think about it like, oh my goodness, my pussy. I hadn't considered it, you know, in that kind of way.
Yes, you want to get a clink in there?
And so I don't get to hear the negative things around the word pussy unless I say the word pussy to someone who's uncomfortable with hearing it or saying it, then maybe there might be some kind of negative energy. But as far as how I hear it, it's very lovingly and through my relationship. And it's just so much joy and happiness that comes with it.
That's a different spin on it.
Yes.
I love that. So I'll speak on how it's being used in my age group because I am moving into my crone years. I'm not quite all the way in there yet. I only use it with my divine, and now on this show and all of the marketing material, and I guess on a lot of the videos that I'm doing now, and a lot of the lives I'm doing now. But me and my divine, we use it only when because we do this thing where we nurture all of the different parts of ourselves, and so he has this person in him that he calls Cell, and I have this person that I'll call Karen. And Karen is nasty.
Okay, so pussy comes out when you're being nasty.
Role play?
Yes.
Okay.
And when we're ready to like, that's like a cue word to like, we want to actually be a little bit more wild and free, and we want to be in this different energy, and then that's when we use the word pussy. Because he'd be like, you know I want some pussy. And once he say that, I'm like, you want this pussy? Right? And so then that's when the dynamic for us change, and that's what it uses for me. It's liberating. you know, in that moment, it's, something I have kept quiet behind closed doors, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for telling. However, we said to be vulnerable, and I'm being very vulnerable right now, and that word has not been something I've openly used, and it has been kept quiet. And I guess a part of it, what makes it so fun, is that it is taboo. And it's like, oh my God, I'm using that word. Naughty me. Give me a spanking. So,
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing how it's an indicator to now become more wild?
yeah.
To open yourself up a little more.
And
be
become
a little-
free.
And become free.
So Claudia, tell us, what were you saying about how you and your husband view the word pussy, and how do you all use it?
Good question. Not sure. I don't think he's saying much because he feels like it can be offensive, or he grew up in that generation where it can be a bad word. I like to use it sometimes in those moments, but not in a bad connotation either. It's like the crown, like it's the crown, Come and take your crown.
Yes, I love that.
It's like a
Empowering.
yeah, exactly. I don't think I ever. It's playful, it's nice, and also, it's there for us to give us joy. I think that's the main thing. Yeah.
Well, I would like to thank all of you beautiful ladies, goddesses, womb holders, divine beings, for being here and being so open and vulnerable in this conversation. This has been a lot, and I know it was a lot for you all, especially on camera. So we appreciate you for sharing the most vulnerable part of your womb. Thank you. We appreciate you. And we would like to thank all of you for coming to join us in this vulnerable moment to listen to us speak about something that's very dear to our hearts and our wombs. So we appreciate you. And we would like to definitely invite you to come to our websites, globallovemusic.com, so that you can see our team, get to know who's behind this amazing production, and you can see all of the artists, because most of the people here are artists, and you'll be able to see their music and download their music or go to their websites as well. And if you want to know more about myself, Dr. Niemah Nefertiti, and get life coaching, spiritual coaching, childhood trauma coaching, and get the book, you can go to niemahnefertiti.com as well. And we would definitely like to give a big thanks to Ama Sophia Rose and her divine for this beautiful temple space that they built here in Hilo, Hawaii. And I'm going to let Mary tell you what her website is.
It's soniclovealchemy.com.
And you can visit there if you would like to purchase some of the chalices or some of the other amazing products that she has here in the Goddess Temple store. And last but not least, you can get the Pussy Power Hour workbook. If you would like to know how to wield the power of your womb, you can get that Pussy Power Hour workbook on Amazon. It's the 21 days to wield the power of your womb. Join us in our Facebook group and let's wield the power of our wombs, because your pussy has power.